makes me a terrorist. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, in the eyes of many people in the world, it's our government that has committed terrorism abroad. Yeah. And in fact, when people are massacred in their homes and in their workplaces for just asking for a better life, which is in fact exactly what happens every day in places like Colombia, I can understand why they would see our government as terrorists. It's American weapons that are pointed at Colombian civilians. It's American weapons that are bombing cities in Afghanistan. And it's American weapons that are killing people in Iraq. And none of that is something that I can abide by. And I think the idea that I could be harassed, or people like me could be harassed, for speaking out for justice in these other countries, speaking out against our government's funding and sponsorship, and in fact engaging in violence in these countries, is a shame. It's a crying shame.
What does it mean to you that these people have come out here, some of them telling us they've come to support you, to see what's happening?
I really appreciate it. Of course, when people come into your home that you don't know and turn everything upside down, you don't want to feel alone. And in this context, I don't. The fact is that the people in Minneapolis for a long time have believed in justice. We've believed in it in our own community, and we want to see it in other countries too. And I think that's why people have come out today, because it's not right to target people who support peace and justice around the world.
Do me a favor, can you open up that inventory sheet for me and tell me what they took?
I can tell you what they took. They went through all my personal pictures, and they took those. They went through every scrap of paper I have. They took papers and notebooks. They took computers. They took my cell phone. They took thumb drive. They took CDs. I think they really liked my music collection. So, yeah.
Is it a mess in there?
It's not too bad, to be perfectly honest. Since they took all the papers, which were pretty messy before, it looks a little better now. They cleaned out the file cabinets for me, yeah.
Was there anything I'm not asking that you wanted to add here?
Well, people may be aware that there are other raids that happen in Minneapolis today, and my understanding is that activists across the country have been targeted today. People who are just like me. We're outspoken, and we definitely believe people have a right to fight for what's right in their own communities. We support those who struggle for peace and justice in places like Colombia and the Middle East. And we're not going to stop. This harassment is a blow. It makes us feel terrible today, but it doesn't make us any less sure that what we're doing is right. And I think, honestly, if the work that we have done can subject us to some sort of investigation, anyone who's done any work for peace and justice can and should be concerned about their own privacy and their own rights as well.
So what is the basis then for these raids, if they have been going on around the country? I mean, what is the purpose behind, what activity were you doing that you think they were so interested in? For what group?
Well, the references in the search warrant that they brought today were to Colombia, Palestine, maybe it said Israel, Jordan, Syria. Those are the countries listed, many of which I have never visited.
But they're listing those countries in what context? Have you provided money, or?
Those are all countries in which I have provided political support to campaigns to get our government out and to end U.S. aid to repressive governments. Actually, I haven't done any work around Jordan or Syria. Maybe I should look at them again.
So Colombia, Palestine.
Colombia and Palestine, yeah. I've supported the movements there for justice. And I think that is why I'm being targeted today.
And when you say support, do you mean money? Do you mean flyers? Do you mean discourse on the internet?
I haven't sent any money to anybody. As a clerical worker, you may have seen us on the news on strike all the time. We don't make a lot of money. I haven't sent any money anywhere, but I have traveled places to lend my moral support, to let people know that they're not alone. And if people in this country don't support our government hurting them, many people don't even know that's happening.
So what if the government were to allege to the media later that you were giving support to Colombian rebels or perhaps Hamas? What about either of those two?
I don't know if Hamas would want to claim me, but again, in our country, it shouldn't be a crime to provide political support to movements.
Have you had contact with Hamas or the Colombian rebels?
I've not had any contact with Hamas. I have met with Colombian rebels in Colombia. Which is actually something that I've been public about, and did public speaking events about here in the Twin Cities and published articles about after I returned. It is a place where there are gross injustices against the common peasant people and the laborers in the cities as well.
So you think the U.S. is providing support to the Colombian government and taking action against the Colombian rebels?
The U.S. government alleges that it's involved in a drug war in Colombia, but in fact, its drug war efforts have all been sort of aimed at areas where there are guerrilla strongholds. My concern is not with, I don't think there's any reason for the U.S. to be sending arms to other countries and fomenting war. And the Colombian people need and want and deserve peace. And as long as our government is sending weapons and advisors, thousands of advisors, and planes staying at military bases, Colombian people can't hope for peace.
And so, with the Palestinian territories, what have you done there that caught somebody's attention?
Well, I've never had the honor of visiting there, but I have encouraged others and helped others go on trips there, but mostly it has been really trying to understand and give voice to the struggle of the Palestinian people for their own rights as a nation, rights that are ignored by the world. You can be a Palestinian, you don't have state, you don't have a country, and that's not right. There are millions of people without a country because of the world ignoring the Palestinian national rights.
And have you been to any other country, you said Colombia, any other country that the U.S. might be interested in?
Well, I've been to Australia.
Beautiful country, isn't it?
It is. Lovely beaches. I've been to Europe.
But any other country that they might believe is on the terrorist watch list or has activities or groups that they find?
It's not my understanding that there's anything else that they're putting attention to.
Is there anything I haven't asked you that you want to add?
I haven't had much time to think about it. I think we're going to be trying to do a more organized statement later today. You know, we weren't allowed to use the telephone except to call our attorneys. My cell phone was taken, so I don't have anybody's number.
What's your attorney?
If you could just tell everybody I don't have their number anymore.
What's your attorney?
I'm not going to say it because yeah.
And the other locations for the raids, where are those?
There are two others that I know of, no, three others that I know of in Minneapolis.